Someone is murdering a puppy in my flat, so what you gonna do? Water. I'm growing as a human. Apparently, Monster isn't enough to keep you alive. Damn false advertising if you ask me. We are making history tonight, baby. And for the first main event of the year, things can only get better. Admit it, you've missed this. Just two gals chewing the fat, braiding each other's hair and watching some delightful violence together. Bonsoir, international flavours. Here's me apologising. I was going to do a reaction video to 2A3. Something comes up, unavoidable scheduling things, and I'm not going to be able to. So let's just have a little laugh about me saying that I was gonna, and instead enjoy my getting hype for tonight's event and a little surprise Saturday upload for you. And because I didn't have a chance to say it at the end, like and subscribe because you know that you love me. It's been a minute, a whole freaking minute since we did a reaction video. And it's felt like even longer than it's been because the last two that we did were a little bit lacklustre. Pull your socks up, lads. Let's hope that's all behind us now and this card more than makes up for that sad flan. You know, like an old flan. Nothing sadder than an old flan of an end to 2022. On the main card tonight, what the fuck have we got? We've got a little ditty, a fun little ditty between two absolute losers. I am, of course, being a cunt. What I mean is two fucking incredible fighters who have both failed to get beyond the big boss Shevchenko. We're talking Jessica Andrade, Lauren Murphy. But since those aforementioned losses, these two have both been back to their winning ways. That noise is annoying. Is it a tsunami? Tsunami. Andrade pulled off that fucking rare standing arm triangle submission last time we saw her out. And Murphy got the win over ex-champ Miesha Tate. It was Murphy who was calling out for this fight, calling it a #1 contender fight, with her eyes firmly on redemption. She's driven by this need to show the world that the Lauren Murphy that fought Valentina isn't as good as it gets. She says that she finds that loss hard to even think about, but since then she's been completely focused on stepping up her game, which she believes she showcased against Miesha. And now she's looking for that next challenge to really build up her confidence and give her the experience she needs to really capitalize the next time that title opportunity is in front of her, which she believes will be real soon. Especially since this is a fight that no one else wanted. She thinks that's going to give her some points with the brass because Andrade is so tough. So Murphy plans to be smart. She's not going to get into a brawl with the powerful Brazilian. She's not going to stand in the pocket and trade. She's not going to be thrown off by the hostile crowd. She's going to earn her opponent's respect as soon as that first bell rings, and she's going to win by fighting her own fight. No one else's. But before we even get to wrap our eyeballs around that phenomenon, there is a stacked prelims card that we'd all be fools to miss. And it's capped off with a notable clash between two light heavyweights who have been dancing around one another for a decade. Johnny Walker and Paul Craig were supposed to fight each other way back at the start of their respective careers. Back then, this was going to happen on Paul's home turf, and now the hometown advantage goes to Johnny Walker. How the tides have turned. But poor Craig, isn't he scared? That was so bad. That was getting cut. But Paul Craig ain't scared. In fact, he said any hatred he gets from the Brazilian crowd will all be worth it for the sunshine. He's fought there before, and he says he'll never forget the passion of the crowd, even though they were passionately calling for his head. And he's looking forward to experiencing that again. Good on you, Paul. But more importantly, he's looking forward to getting back on track. He experienced a lot of criticism for his performance against Uzmir at the last London showing, and he attributed his performance to fighting out of a new gym, kind of finding his footing with a new team, and just being a little bit out of sorts, you know? Just a little bit out of sorts. Out of licorice all sorts. Oh no, I'm out of licorice all sorts. I couldn't possibly win this fight. Scottish accent, look it up. But he's more settled now, and he's looking to make a statement in Brazil. His opponent, on the other hand, is no stranger to changing gyms. Back when he was first supposed to fight Paul, he was fighting out of a gym in Aberdeen, and then he moved to Dublin to SBG. And for this camp he's been in Thailand, saying like the food, the weather, the general vibes all help with his mental preparation, as well as getting what he needs physically and mentally from the coaching and the teams out there. And of course he expects that mental fortitude to only continue once he gets on that plane to Brazil, saying that the crowd chanting, "You're going to die," as they do with such charm, will make his opponent shit himself, his words, not mine, and the fight will be won before a single punch is thrown. And on top of all that, he is coming into this fight with the incredible confidence that comes from getting your very first submission win against a huge threat in Iwan Cutelaba. Said that weird. Against a huge threat in Iwan Cutelaba. It's lost all meaning now. So we should all be excited to see what Walker brings. Another fight we need to get hype for is the last one in Shogun Rua's illustrious career. Recognized as one of the best to ever do it at 205, Shogun says that the pressure is off now. He's just gonna fight and enjoy himself without any thought to like rankings or what's next. Just loosey-goosey Rua. Shogun Rua, yeah. Why do I struggle? And all the pressure is on his opponent, who came into the UFC off the back of the Contender Series and a 15-fight win streak that was crushed in his debut. So you'd think he might have to win this fight in order to stick around. Now, has Gilbert Burns been telling us porky pies, or has Jorge Masvidal been telling us porky pies? Or is it the UFC? Someone has been lying. Someone has been lying about this matchup, and I won't stand for it. I'm gonna find out who. Burns insinuated that he was all set to fight old Jorge, otherwise he'd be delighted to share an octagon with Magny, following Magny's call out after he darsed the living daylights out of D-Rod. Darsed. Daylights, D-Rod. Just something I'm workshopping. And when it did come to light that someone might be ducking someone, I ain't getting involved, Burns stuck to his promise. We've not seen Burns since he was in that chaos concoction with old Hammy, and though we were all winners that night, he will be looking to get back to actually winning at UFC 283. Even with that last loss, Burns' stock continues to rise, and with the win over Magny, we should see him back in the title contention conversation real soon, even though many people said that after what he did in facing Chimaev and putting on such an incredible fight, that he deserved a bigger name, and this is actually high risk, low reward for him. But if Magny wins, that's a big old name to add to his list of victims, the longest in UFC welterweight history. Magny is much bigger than Burns, but Burns has probably both the striking and the grappling advantage, and is probably gonna show us that size doesn't matter. This one's for you, lads. Okay, I remember I said something about making history at the top of the hour. Don't worry, I was always going to circle back eventually. It's our first ever quadrilogy, babes. Any short vacations shouldn't go unmarked, you know what I mean? And these sorts of occasions shouldn't go unmarked, you know? Who's Mark? This fight's between a guy named Brandon and another guy named Deiveson. Who the fuck Mark is? This has gone stupid. I was doing so well. Usually we don't need 4 fights in order to tell us who is the baddest of them all. But in this case, each of the previous 3 have all ended in a different way, so we're just as fucking confused as when we started, if we're being honest. As long as this doesn't end in a draw, like a no contest, we should be able to put this to bed tonight. Why do I keep winking at you? Put me on a fucking register. You know, there's only 1 register. And then, yet again, because we love them so much, we've got another fight for the vacant heavyweight, light heavyweight. Light heavyweight title. How many do we need? Dana's probably hoping to get a good night's rest after this is finally all resolved. I'm joking. He probably sleeps like a baby in a blanket made of privilege and cash. I'm not going to talk about this fight now because I did a whole video on it last week, and if you haven't seen that, you should be ashamed of yourself. So let's just cut to later when we can watch the fights together.